Hang on, people. Let's do some cleaning here on a AR. So I had to remove my that black mat was getting oily, and when I peeled it off, it was all oily here, and it was holding oil, so it wasn't non-porous. So I had to get rid of it. It was the old cloth type. I just ordered me another one. So I'll probably just lay a towel down here because I don't have a mat. And that might make it easy for you to see anyway. Alright. Let's go over a little detailed cleaning on this little AR pistol. So if you notice, I got rid of those bottles over there that I kept knocking down. That was freaking driving me crazy. And I just cleaned up here all my other oils. So now I've kind of straightened those out, put the ones that are together. I've got all my little bottles that were on that side that I consistently knocked over at least 3 times a day. Now they're up top, and I got rid of a couple things. I even have a blank space now for some new and improved, better oil when someone sends it to me. So anyway, tells me I have to use their oil because it's better. All right, so let's get to some AR cleaning. Get a set of gloves on here and go over this. So this is my little AR pistol. Before I forget, here's the rear bead. So I use this to do the rear bead trigger if somebody wants to buy this. I paid $4.11. I was going to have the receipt. I paid $4.11. If you don't have PayPal, I mean, I don't know a fair way to do this. I mean, the first one that comes through with the money, you'll get it. This is illegal. Somebody put in the comments the other one, this is illegal, ATF's kicking doors. That's bullshit. I called Buck just to make sure that I was correct. Buck is an FFL. He's also makes silencer, so he has a class 1. He's a manufacturer. He knows the FFL laws. He goes, this is not illegal. He goes, he has one in his store. He goes, I can sell it. It's a piece of equipment. He goes, there's no registration. There's no illegal shit. So if somebody wants this, I would suggest you go to the website and make sure, because you need a automatic bolt, and that's going to cost you, I think you can pick one up for 79 bucks on a Palmetto Armory. If you want a silver one like I got in here, I think they're 99 bucks or 89 bucks. And because I had one, I didn't really need to buy one, so it didn't cost me. But if you don't have one, and then it says something about a buffer and a spring, he said he just put it in a long gun and it worked. It did not work on this, and it did not work on my other one. And I think it's because I have a short spring and I have such a short buffer back here. And it wasn't given enough time to reset the trigger. And like I said, I went through, this has, and the little, it's pretty simple. I mean, this is the only thing, it drops in. And then you have the 2 screws that you screw in that don't back out. And I didn't put Loctite on them because I was just trying to make sure it worked. So they never had Loctite. So I would have Loctite them if I was going to keep them in a gun and it worked. But it wouldn't work in my shorties. And I've already got the triggers I want in my long ones. So I don't want it. And I'm going to get rid of it. So whoever puts in the best effort to get it from me, whether through email or you're scared, you don't want to give me an email, whatever. You're going to have to trust me that you're going to send me the cash, and then I'm going to send you that. There ain't no guarantee. There ain't no, eBay. There ain't no. When I ship it, it'll have a tracking number, and I'll give you the tracking number. And so, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this sling off. This was called a single point sling. You just kind of sling it over because it has a single point connection. I don't really like this hookup, but it's pretty freaking secure. So when you squeeze it, it opens up like so, and you have to fit it in between there. So it's not going to come off, but it's a pain in the ass for a quick release. But you know what? Once you put it on, you really shouldn't want it off anyway. So here is This is called a lower of an AR. So what this has is the trigger mechanism, which this is a drop-in trigger, by the way. It's not like that trigger. It's just a drop-in that makes it really soft. So it has the little lock screws on it. And the trigger is a little bit different than the standard AR trigger. And I think, I don't know what I paid for that. Maybe 40, 57 bucks, something. Really nice trigger though. Great reset, nice and easy. I can pop off really rounds really quick with this. So we have this down here, and then we have our upper. And the upper consists of a barrel, gas tube, and a bolt, and a charging handle. Okay, forward assist. Forward assist is if this doesn't close all the way, and there's a little gap right there, this is supposed to assist that and push it in. Did y'all see that? So if your bolt doesn't close all the way, instead of re-racking and throwing a round out, you can just hit this and it will push it in. And that closes it. And that's how your forward assist work. And you shouldn't be banging on it like I just did. It should be, if you got a handle here, it should be nothing but finger pressure. I should be able to push it in just like that with my finger. That's all it does. It just pushes in and locks it into place. Okay? So we're going to pull out the, what they call this, boat carrier group, and the charging handle. We'll lay those down. Now all we have is a barrel that needs to be cleaned, and I don't know when's the last time I cleaned this one. And the interior needs to be cleaned out. And I put a different flash suppressor on here. This is a really good flash suppressor. On a pistol, you get a much bigger flash, so you want a good flash suppressor. This flash suppressor is pretty damn good, even on a pistol. But I digress. I have a few others. I have this one, which is good also, and I have this one, which is good. One of these might be the same one that's on there. And then I have this one, but this is for a silencer. I can put it on there, and then it's got a quick release for the silencer. So if my gun that I have the silencer on, if I want to put this on a different gun, I can just switch the silencer in between them. And this is just like some little muzzle can that I think it might go on an AK. But it's just, it doesn't really do much, I don't think. But anyway, let's get back to the AR. And we're going to do a detailed cleaning here. So we're going to lay some things out here. We have the charging handle, we have the bolt carrier group, and we have the lower receiver with the trigger housing in it, and the 2 pins, and the buffer spring. If you want to take out the buffer spring, I usually just get a flathead screwdriver, or even a round head screwdriver, and just push down that little bitty button right there, and that will release the spring to come out. So you hold it with your finger. I'm holding this in as I push down so it doesn't fly out. And then when it comes out this far, you just kind of wiggle it on out. Why is it not coming out? It's getting caught on that little pin down there. So, and here's your spring and your buffer. Some people don't ever take these out. Some people do. I'm going to do a thorough cleaning, so I've got it out. Okay? This is a finished in. See how it's finished? It's nice and flat, and it goes around. This is also a finished in, so it doesn't matter which way it goes back in. I'm assuming they're the same size, but I'll show you just for GP, so it's like I got caught on my freaking So we have the spring and a buffer, and then you have your buffer tube. And then, and this looks pretty clean. I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but it's pretty freaking clean. But I'll run a patch and oil through it. So let's go ahead and clean this lower and the spring, and we'll get that back in. What are we going to do here is I'll grab a patch. Where's my Go Juice? Should I use some Go Juice or some Marvel Mystery? This looks a little rough. I would probably, in my younger days, change this buffer. But because it doesn't do much, I'm not going to mess with it. So, let's wipe this buffer off and see what it looks like when it's wiped off. Well, that cleaned up pretty nice. So I'll just put a little oil on that. Does this need to be oiled? Probably not. It just sits on a spring, and the spring compresses every time you take a shot, and it just rolls in and out like so. So, but you know what? It can't hurt to put a little oil on it, I guess. And that's the oil, so that's good. Now I want to get the spring oiled up, so I'm going to put a little go juice on my hand there, and I'm just going to grab the spring here and kind of slide that around there and get a coat of oil on here. And I don't know if you could tell, it was pretty dry before. I can definitely see it, the sheen from the oil that I just put on there. And then what I do is I take a patch, I'm going to get a little oil on the patch. Then I'm going to put the patch through, grab it to where it's holding a ring, and then I'm going to twist it all the way down every ring. So I'm twisting it and I'm working my way up here, and I went down about a third. And you'll probably see the patch will have some dirt on it after it gets through because it's removing it, and a lot of people don't clean their spring as good as this, and you end up getting that off your spring. So this was a clean patch. I'll put a little bit more oil, and because I started at a third up, I'm going to go back in the same spot, except this time I'm spinning it the other way, and I want to work my way up the long way. So here we go. And if you look at this, on the inside of this spring, you should see that it's oil, and on the inside of this spring, it's not really oily. I don't know if you can see that. I can see it with my naked eye. The inside of this spring is dry, and where I put the patch, the inside of the spring is moist and oiled. Hopefully you can see that. And that's why I think this is the only way to really clean a spring to where you get every groove. Takes time. People are like, you don't need to do that. That's too much. It's not. You know what? I've never had a spring rust on me if I do this. But whatever. Clean your gun your way. I'm simply sharing how I clean mine. And I just keep twisting until it comes off. And then I look at my patch and see how much dirt I got off that spring, which isn't really a lot. Not a whole bunch. But now my spring is done and my buffer's done. Now, do I want to, and what you just saw me do there is I just clipped that on there because it was kind of, if you twist this off, this stops right there. It would do it anyway when I shoved it in there, but if I just put tension on a spring, it's going to pop down on there. There we go, pop down on there. Is that necessary? You know, half dozen one or the other. Now, do I need to clean this tube? I don't need to. I've got kind of a dirty patch here. I'll drive somebody nuts by just putting put a little mystery oil on there. See if I get any goop out of this tube here. And again, when I'm inside this tube, I'm going around and I'm spinning this inside the tube while going around to make sure I get every little spot inside this tube. I don't think I got a dirtier patch, but just in case somebody is squawking on me, I will put a clean patch over this one and run it back through and see what I get. Give a little go juice oil. Clean patch. See what it looks like afterwards. Got a little more than I expected. Alright, so now that that's clean and my spring is clean and my buffer is clean, I will put this spring back in here. Push it in, and when I push this past this little thing, it should just By pushing it in there, that retainer pin stops it. And now my buffer spring's in and it's clean. So that's done. I'll take a Q-tip. Maybe I'll take this patch because it's got some oil on it. And just give this a little rub down. My magazine well. Maybe the trigger well. And then I'll get me a Q-tip. And I'll clean my trigger area nice and good. Go ahead and pull that trigger. You don't want to let your trigger slam into this without hitting a firing pin, because it can fracture your firing pin or start making Mars on this. Is it the end of the world? Probably not. But you shouldn't do it if you can stop it. So you notice I'm releasing tension before it goes up, because I don't want it to slam in there. So I'm making sure I'm getting good oil on all my other parts in here. And that trigger is done. And my Q-tip's clean. So this lower is done, except I'm going to put a little bit of oil on here and let it kind of soak in. By the way, this is a Anderson lower. You can tell where I oiled and where I didn't oil. So I'm going to oil this and just let it soak in while I'm doing the rest of my gun here. I always oil my pins so they come in and out easy. Some people like them stiff and they don't like to oil them. I don't really care what you do. I've never had a pin come out, but some people say if they're stiff, that's good, it won't come out. I've never experienced that, but to each his own. Anytime I have a button or a push, I like to get a little bit of oil, whatever comes out and whatever goes in. So I'm going to put an oil here and press it, and I'm going to press it, put some oil here, and then let it go. Okay, so that's good and oiled. This moves. This is your slide lock. When you pull that up, it locks the bolt to the rear, and then when you let the bolt go, this drops and it lets the bolt go forward. It has a little nub at the bottom to lock. When you press on the bottom, it puts that piece up, and that locks your bolt to the rear. And then when you want to close the bolt, you press the top. When it's locked to the rear, it sits like this. And then when you press the top, it goes down and releases the bolt. Okay, so that's an AR. And this is a lower. Now this is a plastic grip, and I just ordered this little rubber thing with a little finger cover over it. So this is just a plastic kind of grip cover that gives you a little bit of a rubber grip. Feels pretty nice. I like it. So this is completely done. We can almost move this out of the way. But I'm going to do the bolt right here. So this is probably, on your charging handle, kind of pretty much the same thing. My charging handle should be pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit of oil and run it down here. This part right here that you see me cleaning now is what this piece kind of guides through. So when your charging handle is sitting like this, that's what you see riding in there. So is that getting in the camera? When I look into the lights, I can't see shit. So anyway, I'm cleaning the inside of that tube. I'm cleaning any holes, and I'm getting quite a bit of dirt. So I obviously have not cleaned my charging handle very good, or it's from the rounds I shot the other day. And even though it was less than a magazine each, it obviously put some pretty good, and I was shooting green tips. because that's what I carry, so that's what I wanted to test it with. If you watch the videos, he says you can test different ammo, different springs, different buffers. Okay, so now I have a good coat of oil inside, in the hole. There's a little latch right here with a little spring. If you want to get a drop of oil, anytime something moves or there's a pivot point, I like to put a little drop of oil. So I'm going to go ahead and drop me a drop of oil right there and then work that pivot point. Alrighty, so that's done. The bolt. This is probably the most complicated part other than maybe pulling the trigger out. So the bolt, if you notice, the big thing that people don't realize is this little dot right there in that thing. That is your ejector. It's a spring that pushes forward, and that needs to be, if you're looking at this like a clock, it needs to be at the 4 or 5 o'clock position when you put it back together. It won't go back together wrong. They used to go back together wrong. And then as it developed, they fixed it to where it'll only go back the right way. It used to be you could put it in backwards. So when we were doing inspection in the military, we would look at that, and if it was on the other side up, we'd be like, you dumbass, put it in backwards. So, first thing that always comes out of the bolt is that little bitty eye screw right there. That holds your firing pin in. So in order to get the firing pin out, the firing pin goes straight through this little thing right here. So you can't get this out until the firing pin's out. This won't come out until you get this out. So in order to get the firing pin out, you need to get that little thing out. Some people just use their fingernail. Some people stick something in there. I think I want to be able to get just my fingernail in there. Maybe not. So I need something small enough to get in there, a little screwdriver, anything. And I'm just going to give that a little hook there, and it pops out. And then I'm going to pull it out. And that's my little pin. There's only one way that pin can go in. You have the fat side, and you have the little side. The fat side has to go in a big hole, and it comes out on the other side on the little hole right there. So, now that that's out, my firing pin will come out. You turn it upside down, tap it, and your firing pin will fall out. There's your firing pin. Now that my firing pin is out, this little piece will come out. So, but you have to spin it like so it'll fit past this thing so it comes out. Once you spin it, trying to keep it on camera is kind of tough to do. This comes out really easy if you don't have gloves and you've got it the right way. God, I keep pushing it in because I have freaking gloves. Okay, so now that it's out, that's what it looks like. Oh shit, it just slid out. I'll just turn it upside down and let it fall out. Okay, notice the little pin is at 4 or 5 o'clock. That's how it's got to go back in. Once you get this little piece out, your actual little bolt will come out. So you have this piece that's solid that needs to be cleaned, and then this is your bolt with your with a firing pin. So the way it looks like when it's together is this is here, this is inside here that I just pulled out, which means your firing pin goes all the way through here and comes out here. See that little firing pin? Is that coming out? The firing pin coming through? So your firing pin goes through here, but there's a hole right there. What's that hole for, Rick? Well, that's for this piece inside the bolt that goes in, but the hole has to be lined up like so the firing pin can go through, and now we have our firing pin through, and this holds it in. Okay? So that's what it looks like inside here. So now that you got all the little pieces there, we got the little retaining pin, we have the firing pin, we have the bolt retainer, or whatever that is, we have the bolt, or the, I guess that's the bolt. This is the bolt retraining group, or bolt carrier group, something like that. So this should be pretty clean. Like I said, I only fired a few rounds. I shouldn't be getting a whole bunch of dirt off this. Getting a little bit. I want to give the bolt wipe down. I just wiped down the carrier group. Here is the big part that you have to clean. if you have oil on it and you're not shooting really bad ammo, this is your critical cleaning part in here. You get carbon in here. And when you get carbon in there, you need to be able to scrape that carbon away. And you will see it. Hell, I might even see some on here. Can you see that little, maybe some carbon buildup there? Some people use solvents. Some people use a screwdriver. Some people use a brush. I'm kind of just giving a little, breaking up that carbon buildup there. Put a patch over it with some oil and see if it's still there. Is it still there? That should be pretty smooth, and it looks pretty smooth. If it isn't smooth, some people will use like a little wire brush, and they will just run it over like so. And that little wire brush will scrape away a lot of that carbon buildup. Man, I've seen these to where it's got 1/4 of an inch of shit. I mean, it's just filthy. So this is very, very clean compared to most. But, okay, I think it's pretty good now. I don't see any. So I'll just put a little coat of oil in that. Again, I always want to get a Q-tip and clean anywhere a bolt goes through. That one piece goes through there, around here, inside here. I always get in between each one of these little grooves. This is your locking, what locks into your gun before you fire a trigger. So I always get those clean. And if I really want to get clean, I take this little pin out here, pop this off, and clean inside. Since I'm doing a complete detail, I'll go ahead and pop that out for you. Where is my... In order to get this out, there's tension here, so you have to press down to relieve the tension, and then press this little pin out. And this might be too big. This is too big. I need something smaller. So this little guy should fit. No, he doesn't. Holy shit. This little guy should fit. Okay, I think this little guy's going to fit. So if you just try to push this through, something's going to bang out. You want to put a little pressure on here, downward pressure, and hold it in, and it makes the pin come out easy, like so. Pin just got pushed out. Oh shit, I heard it and I didn't see it. Damn it. Trying to keep showing camera. So anyway, this is like the pin, but you notice because it's not as fat as the pin, it allowed this to pop up. So I'm going to hold this down when I pull this pin out, and then when I take this off, you'll be able to see what's on the inside. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Okay? It rolls over and sets down. You pull the pin out and it comes out. So you want to clean this. You want to clean this little donut wheel. There's a spring sometimes. And I don't see a spring on this one. I thought there used to be a spring. Maybe they just went to donuts. Alright, should I put this camera on pause while I look for this, or will I find it quickly? I will be back. Shit, stupid. Damn. Holy crap. Man. Okay, so we're 45 minutes later. Coffee is still warm. I found this little piece of shit. I couldn't find it with this magnet. After I got the magnet, I got this, and I swept the whole floor into this. Swept everywhere, couldn't find it. Finally, went out to the garage, got my nail picker-upper magnet that you run around a yard after you get nails, and I slid this around the floor, and it went, man, at least 7 feet underneath the bench back against the wall. This thing sucked it up. I heard it click. And I went, holy shit, I think I got it. There it is, a little piece of shit. Hope you freaking ungrateful viewers know what people that make videos go through to bring you quality shit. Hopefully that's the right damn pin. That could have been another pin I lost a long time ago. I don't know if that's the right damn pin. Looks like the right pin. Let's see if it fits. Yeah, looks like it fits. Rick, you don't even know what pin it is. Well, whatever. Shh, freaking disaster. At least I fed my horses. The horses were out there like, dude, why are you out in the garage so late? It's getting dark out here. I had to take my gloves off. My hands were sweaty. Now I got to use a new set of gloves. Man, I'll tell you, what a freaking pain in the butt. I needed a damn drink after that. Alright, so showing that little pin, obviously if I was doing that over my bench like I should have been doing instead of holding for the camera, it would have fell here and it's not a big deal. So I'm going to get a Q-tip in here, clean out the interior there, the interior of this. Remember, this is where your firing pin slides through. Comes out here through here. See that firing pin? So this little cavity can get dirty. So this Q-tip should clean that crap out. Ooh. That's a healthy colon. Now there is another little pin right there to take the ejector out, and I'm not going to take that out because that's a pain in the butt. You have to compress this. I usually keep a 5.56 round around here, and you kind of like got to put the round in and push it in to release the tension to get the pin out. But I ain't taking it out. Rick, why don't you take it out? Because I ain't taking it out. You want to take it out? Go watch another damn video. Rick, that's not very nice. Whatever. Crazy people. Alright, so let's put this back together. This, and you always want to make sure that if there's a spring, I call it a little donut. Man, I cannot see that with it, damn. I call it a little donut, but it's a little rubber donut. That's just my cop shit. So it just sits in here like so, and it goes down. Okay? And then we're going to push that down, and it's going to create a springy tension, and that's going to allow that pin to go back in. I can't remember if I cleaned that pin or not. I put oil on it. Alright, it's pretty clean. So before I put the pin in, what some people do is to get a guide rod in there. I take this little guy. I'll put this in to make sure it's lined up correctly, and then I'll push this out with the pin, which means this will fall on the ground, which I probably won't lose. But I know it's lined up. I will take this, and as I push this in, the pin comes out. And then it's almost in, so I push it in a little bit more. And I want to make sure it's flush, because it has to be flush. And now it's flush on both sides. Okay? And I usually feel it on both sides to make sure. I can still feel a little nub here. So this needs to go in a little bit more. You can use a screwdriver or anything. Anything that you can get in there, and just push that in a little bit. Now I feel it on the other side. So I went too far, because I don't know if you guys can see that. Now it's sticking out a little bit right there. So you really want to make sure that it's smooth, because this will create drag. There. Now I can't feel it on either side. Now it's in there. Okay? So that's back together. Did I wipe this sucker down and oil my firing pin? So what happens when you pull a trigger is your firing pin, this is what the hammer hits. Every time you fire a round, the hammer hits this part of the firing pin. So, all that oil I had on here already soaked in. It absorbed into that metal, which is good. Couple of cracks and crevices there that I want to make sure, and there's not any dirt hiding in there. Did I put a Q-tip in here? I'm not sure. Let's go over that again. I kind of got messed up when that dummy popped my pin out and made me lose it. Freaking stupid viewer. So this is a tube, so I want to get that. not a whole bunch of dirt. There's a groove right there. I want to make sure and get that groove. There's 2 grooves here. Get those 2 grooves. There's this hole right here, the gas tube. Usually I can get a Q-tip to go in there and I just spin it and pull it out. And then inside where that bolt is, I want to get around there. And then inside this part area. And then this little tube right there where that little pin came out. Remember we had that pin come out? If I really want to get technical, I grab me a pipe cleaner, put some oil on it, and literally put that through where that pin goes. And trying to get that come out the other side is pretty tough, so I'm going to go in the other way. See if I can get it in the other way. And there we go. So now I know I'm getting a good coat of oil on the inside where that pin goes. I can put the pipe cleaner down the gas tube too if I want. Even though I put a Q-tip down there. Didn't get much out of there. Okay, I'm going to put me a drop of oil on my fingers and make sure this has got a nice little coat over everything. These, I don't know if this is chrome or bromanium or bromium or whatever. I don't know what the hell they are. They sure make cleaning easier. Okay, so let's put this bolt carrier group back together. What goes in first? This piece goes in. Which way is the little time clock supposed to be? It's supposed to be at 5 o'clock. If it's at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or noon, it's wrong. If it's at 1 o'clock, it's wrong. If it's at 3 o'clock, it's wrong. It needs to be at 4 or 5 o'clock. And what that does is right in this hole, you can see that hole lining up. And so once you need to get that hole just lined up so this piece will fall in. Again, it used to be if this was opposite, it would still go in. You want it to be the right way. The reason why it's got to be down at the bottom like this is when it pushes outward, it makes the round flip out the ejection port. If it was the other day, it would push it into the ejection port and you get stovepipes. All right? So once you get this in here, and I'll pull this out here to show you. This will go in this way, but you turn it over and try the other way and it won't go in. They got smart. Because probably the military putting it in the wrong way all the time. So it only goes in on the right side. And the right side is when this is at 4 or 5 o'clock. Alright? So we're going to slide that in there. I'm going to manipulate the bolt a little bit as I'm pushing down until it falls in. Now once it falls in, remember it has to spin this way so the firing pin can go through, and it has to be pulled out. So this bolt has to be pulled out, that has to be in there, and now your firing pin will go straight through all the little places it's supposed to go. Now some people put it in here and try to line it up. I usually just put it in the top. I put my hands here, drop it, and it usually just falls in. And then once it falls in, it's there. You push it down the rest of the way, it's there, and then you put in that last little pin, which is this, goes in here. I usually twist it when I'm putting it in to help it kind of seat on the other side. And sometimes it gets a little tricky to get it through this little bitty hole over here. But, oh shit, I just got a text. What was it? Holy shit. I got like freaking 5 or 6 voicemail. You alive? Oh, that's Charlie, one of my viewers. I tried to call, he asked me what I was doing, and I tried to call him earlier, and then I left my phone somewhere. So I'm still trying to figure out how to get the sucker in here. This, they make an aftermarket. Why they make a standard with damn 2 points, it's hard as hell to get those 2 points in there. They make a standard aftermarket to where this is one hole, and it goes right in, it's nice and easy. But you know what? My cheap, oh, it just went in. I just slid it in and went straight in. So it's just luck of the draw sometimes. So now I know my bolt is working. If you want to check your bolt, it should spin when you pull. And there you go. Okay, bolt is together. The charging handle is clean. It's going to go on top of this area, inside your upper. Okay? This part is pushing back on this part of the gun. So this part goes all the way in the rear of your receiver, has this ejecting and doing its thing. Every time you fire, this goes back in there. That's what that buffer is for. Okay? This, your firing pin, goes in between this hole. Oh, I wanted to show you the difference between an automatic and a... So the difference between an automatic bolt carrier group and a non is, notice how this is long on both sides. It's equal. On a semi-automatic bolt carrier group, this is like half. All this is cut out. So because this piece right here actually works on an automatic trigger, you need this much metal. So what the liberals and the freaking idiots did, they go, oh, let's cut this part out, and now they can't ever convert it to an automatic because this is an automatic bolt to work on automatic triggers. Well, with this little trigger thing here, you need an automatic because this little piece right here has to be pushed by the bolt right here, and it's got to push it. If you got a non-bolt, you don't have that extra metal and it won't release it. So that means it won't come out of battery until this is closed, so it won't let you pull your next trigger until it's locked in, and this locks in your barrel up here, and until it's locked in, it won't let you pull your next round. So if you put the other bolt in, it won't work because this trigger will not pull unless this pushes forward. And this automatic bolt carrier group with the full thing right here, that's what pushes it forward. Okay, go watch the guy's videos if you're thinking of making me an offer on that rare breed. Okay, so I already cleaned this. I cleaned the bolt. Now let's get to the upper. The upper is basically the barrel. If you want to clean the gas tube on the inside, you can take all this off, clean the gas tube. You can wipe down the barrel. If you want to pull off your flash suppressor and clean the threads and put it back on, you can. This has got an angle grip on it because it's a pistol. It's got flip-up sights, so I can, there's my front, there's my rear, and the sights are lined up to the little red dots, and when I turn on my dot, all three of these are lined up, so I can use either or. If my red dot or battery breaks, I can bump up these regular sights. And if I don't want to use the sights, I can just use a red dot. And actually it's a green or a red dot. I can go either way and make green or red. Okay, so I'm going to basically just wipe down and oil the interior here and run a patch down this barrel and out the barrel and clean it. And that's it. That is your cleaning. Where is my patch cleaner? Let me start putting up my things that I had to pull out looking for that damn bolt everywhere. I had more shit out everywhere. A lot of times also I use these little things. They're great with magnets. They're like $4 at Harbor Freight. You put parts in here and you don't lose them because they end up sticking. Screwdrivers, metal things, whatever. So you put all your nuts in here. Even if you knock the bowl over, you're not going to lose your things. If you take some apart over this and you drop it, the magnet will grab it if it's magnetic. But I like those little things, and to each his own. Let me get a patch here. I'll get a clean patch. Now see, this is too dirty for me to run down a barrel to see how dirty my barrel is. So I want a clean patch going down there. And the clean patch is I'm going to put some mystery oil on it. And I'm going to go in the wrong way that people tell you not to go in this way, because I don't really care. And then it's going to come out here. Then I'm going to pull it out and we'll see what kind of dirt I got off here. Not too bad. Almost nothing. Pretty stinking clean. Now I'm going to go in the rear way and I'm going to spin it and make sure where my round goes in that I'm making sure I'm getting any dirt or anything in there. I don't want a lot of dirt buildup because then my round might end up sticking and causing ejection problems. So that's pretty clean. Now I'm going to go ahead and shove it through the barrel. Pull it out. Shove it through, pull it out, and I'm done. I'm not getting anything off that. So my barrel is pretty freaking clean. I don't know if you can see through it. If I get a little flashlight here. Can y'all see in that barrel? I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I'm trying just to get you an idea on what the barrel looks like. Okay. And I'm going to take this patch here because it's pretty clean. It's got a couple dirty spots on it. Put some oil on here and use this as my oil down patch. And so now I'm just going to wipe down everything with this oil patch. On the inside. This little area right here is kind of tough to get in. That's where your bolt slides in and out. So however you want to get in there and clean those walls, you can. Close the dust cover, give it a good wiping on the inside, then pop it out. Give it a good cleaning on the outside. And you know what? I'm freaking done. This gun's good to go. I got no problem. Let's go for the put back together. So, remember these 2 pins here? I don't remember if I wiped them down. I think I did, but I'm going to give them another wipe down with that same rag in case I didn't. These 2 pins connect to the 2 holes. 1 hole there, 1 hole there. If I wanted to get my Q-tip with some oil, I could clean out these 2 holes that the pin goes through. They don't get that dirty, but you can clean them if you want to. So where the 2 holes are going to be, this is going to connect up right here for the bottom pin and the top pin. Once it's together, push the 2 pins in, your gun is put back together. If you just remove the back part, the back pin, you can have the gun like that, pull your bolt out, you don't even need to take off the front. I just took it off so it was easier to work with. So now that this is open, I can reload it, put my charging handle in upside down because the bolt's going to go in that little ton. There is a couple little dips right in here that you need to get to. And see those 2 little wings on there? Those 2 wings will fall right in that little hole, and then you'll know you got it in the right place as it moves. Pull it out about halfway. Make sure your bolt is extended out. You don't want it in. You want it extended out. And then you set that little tube in the rail and slide it in. Both these will come together and will lock in. You shut it, lock the pin, you're good to go. Damn, that's a heavy spring, man. Woo! Okay, so function check. Same function check I do on every weapon. Fire the trigger and hold it back. Bang. Recharge it. Listen for the trigger reset when I release pressure. There's that trigger reset. It should fire again. I know the gun's functioning properly. Close my dust cover. Stick a mag in it. Where's my mag? I had a mag in that sucker around here somewhere. Shit, I don't know where the hell. Let's stick this one in there. I don't know what the hell happened on my mag. And this gun is clean. Need to hook back up my little patch here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little oil on this thing. Where's me a Q-tip? I'll go ahead and oil this up even though it doesn't look rusty at all. I'll squeeze it, get in between there. If this rusts and is connected to my gun, it can cause my gun to rust, even though it has this protective sheath around it. So I'm going to put this on here, like so. I'm going to roll up this protective elastic cover over the metal so it's quiet. And now that's hooked up and my gun is good to go. Alright, always keep my guns on fire because I know the trigger's been pulled and I have to rack it to get it into action. You can carry it any way you want. Alright, woo, good to go. Man, that thing took a lot longer. It seems like I've been doing this forever, but you guys weren't rolling while I was looking, so I don't know how long this damn video is. Hopefully you learned something about the M16, AR, M4, AR-15, whatever they're calling it, they're all the same. They all have the same functions, same type of things. This is a pistol variant, meaning it's got an expandable brace back here, and it's got a short barrel, a barrel under whatever the FFL says is a pistol. I think it's an 8 or 11 inch barrel. Alright, magazine release, and we are good to go. Hope you got something. I'm glad I found that pin because I was not a happy camper. Alright, well in that there, y'all have a good one. Oh, don't forget about the trigger. Whoever puts in the most effort to make sure and let me know they want it. And however you want to do it, I'll work with you. I don't care. I mean, you know, I got to get the cash and then I'll send you the thing. Again, there's no FFL, there's no serial number, there's no registration, they're not illegal. You can buy it. If you don't want to buy it from me, you can go to Rare Breed website, I think it's rarebreed.com, and they have them. $389 plus tax or shipping, and it comes out to $411 is what mine came to get to my door. And I put 2 magazines through it and then put it back in the original box. It's good to go. It actually has some gun juice oil on it, so it's already oiled up nice. But anyway, well in that there,